I'm Ashka Colton, the dating detox expert, and I work with smart and successful single women who are tired of dating and struggling to find the right kind of guy. And I help them to step up by valuing and loving themselves more. So they stop making the same mistakes in love, they start making more empowered romantic choices, and they finally attract true love that lasts. And the topic of boundaries is the most important topic in my work because it has absolutely changed my love life, my approach to dating, my perception of relationships and how I function in them. And it was a life-changing thing when I applied them. They actually changed everything about my relationships and my dating. So there's no surprise that I teach it and I pay so much attention to this topic and I love to talk about it, and it's a big part of my programs. And I always tell my clients, if you take one thing from working with me or from my programs, take the topic of boundaries and apply them, stick to them, and see how your life changes. And I'm going to keep it brief because I need to go. We're going for drinks with my man because my family is here, so it doesn't happen very often. So I want to keep it short and do it quick. But the whole point of this live is to introduce you to the topic of boundaries. And if you're more interested in this work, and if you are a single lady who is at the point in her life when you know that you need to do a little bit more inner work to step up and show up differently and have stronger boundaries and raise your standards, I am going to talk about my program towards the end of this live, which is awesome. I'm releasing it on the 16th of April. It's a 5-week group coaching program for the single ladies who are done with average relationships, with men who are not ready to commit, men who treat you like an option, and you actually want to step up, show up like a powerful woman you truly are within, and attract the right kind of man and create an amazing relationship. Like it happened to me and it happened to many of my clients. And just a brief story from my life. I was stuck on a dating treadmill for 10 years. I dated like a mad woman because I was so desperate and so needy. I believed if I had a relationship and if I had a man, I would be so much happier. Everything would be sorted in my life. But life had a completely different plan for me, and my dating didn't bring me the love of my life. It actually got me to a point of exhaustion, and I needed to stop. And when I stopped, I started my epic dating detox, which helped me to reconnect with myself and learn how to love and value myself, and gave me an opportunity to look at my previous relationships and learn from them. And it was obvious that I needed to strengthen my boundaries. I needed to aim higher in dating and in love. I needed to raise my standards, and this is what I did. And in the process, I became a happy single woman who lost a desire to actually be in a relationship like ASAP. I stopped being desperate. I stopped feeling lonely, or as lonely as I used to feel. And after 2 years of being on my dating detox, I started to date again, but my approach to dating changed drastically and I became more effective at it. I had more fun. I started to attract high quality guys, and within 3 months I met the love of my life. And now we've been together for 3.5 years. We already have a son together, and I show up differently in this relationship because I did the inner work, which now I inspire women to do. Single women who haven't been so lucky in love, but they deep inside they believe they can, and they know they deserve more. So, boundaries. What are boundaries? Because, you need to know the definition, and probably you can explore it further and ask yourself the question, what are boundaries? But my definition is, these are your limits. The limits you don't want to cross. like the things you don't want to accept, the things you don't want to tolerate any longer, the things you don't want to put up with, and basically the things you don't want to have in your dating or in your relationship. So for example, I used to say yes far too often in my dating career. I would say yes to anybody because I was so desperate, so I wanted to go on dates because then I believed the more dates, the more of a chance of meeting the one. So I would say yes to this guy and to this guy and to this guy without even judging whether we had much in common, whether we had similar values, whether there was potential for anything else than just one date. Because obviously my objective was to find the love of my life, not to just go on one date. So after the dating detox, when I strengthened my boundaries, I became much more selective, and let's say if I got 10 emails on a dating website, it would be just delete, 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 delete. And 1 out of 10 guys would be interesting to me, and I would get in touch with him, and then we could start interacting. And so I put a certain set of criteria in place, and how I wanted them to behave, and how I wanted them to treat me. And if something didn't match my expectations, I would be very strict. It would be the end of the story. It would be like, next one, please. I mean, I was nice and kind of polite when I communicated things to them, but I wouldn't carry on. I wouldn't waste my time. And I encourage you to do the same if you are a dating woman. So boundaries, your limits, the things you don't want to put up anymore with. Then why you need them? Because there are many, many benefits to having strong boundaries in place. First thing, it's nice that I wanted to start from a second thing on the list. They protect you in dating. And I'm pretty sure nobody out there wants to get hurt, right? You want to get it right. You want to find the right kind of person. So strong boundaries will help you eliminate the time wasters, eliminate the guys who don't want what you want, eliminate the guys who are not looking for what you are looking for. So for example, you're looking for a committed relationship, but the guy is just looking for a casual thing. So then your boundary should be, I'm not even interacting with a guy who's looking for a casual relationship. Thank you very much. You nicely communicate. I'm really sorry, I'm looking for a committed relationship. It doesn't look like we are looking for the same thing. And many men will appreciate you for being honest. I had it very often when I said like, sorry, I don't feel anything romantic going on between me and you. I had a nice day. Thank you very much. They will get back to me and they'll say, yeah, really sad we won't see each other again, but I really appreciate your honesty. It's quite refreshing. So don't be afraid to be honest. Don't be afraid to say how you feel. Don't be afraid to actually say what you are looking for, because it will help you meet the right kind of people. So another benefit of having boundaries is that they set the tone for your relationships and they actually communicate to them your expectations. So then when you're dating someone, the man knows where he stands with you, whether he can deliver what you are looking for, whether he's the right man for you, or whether he needs to step up to actually keep you. And many won't, because it will be too much work, or you're not the right woman. Don't take it personally. But some men who really see value in you, and by the way, strong boundaries communicate your value to the right man, to the high quality man, they will step up. They will step up to keep you happy, to have you in their life, to make sure that they don't lose you, because they see you are a keeper. So they protect you in dating, they communicate your value, they set the tone for your relationships, and the last one is they prevent you from losing yourself in relationships. So you basically set up certain boundaries in dating, but then you also need to set up certain boundaries in your relationship. So your partner knows where your limits are, your partner knows to respect the limits and to respect you, in fact, because you respect yourself. And the guy will only respect you to the level you respect yourself. So it makes absolute sense to me to have that in place first and communicate that by showing your boundaries. And worth mentioning, there is one thing: you can have boundaries, you can like kind of logically set them up and know what your non-negotiables are and what your limits are. But the power is in sticking to them and communicating them and acting upon them. So they are your guide as well. They like your guidance system as well in dating and in relationship, because when you don't stick to them, they have no value. They communicate nothing. They actually do nothing. So the key is to actually stick to your boundaries, which is not the easiest task, because I think we women are kind of conditioned to be polite and soft and feminine and all that stuff. I found boundaries to be absolutely sexy, and they actually empower you. This is how I felt when I started to use boundaries in my dating and my relationships. And you don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be like really defensive, because that will probably put the guys off. But you need to be firm, and you can do it in a loving way. So now you know what boundaries are, you know what the benefits of boundaries are. There are more benefits, and there's more to say about boundaries, but I cover definitely more in my courses, in my programs. And so if you are interested in working on your boundaries and raising your standards and stepping up in love, please email me, because for the next 2 weeks you can sign up for the course. And the third bit is how to set them up. The first step in almost everything I do personally is to raise your awareness. Start observing when you dishonor your boundaries. So, for example, when do you say yes when you want to say no? Or when do you prioritize other people's needs over yours? Or another example, when you do things to please others or to get approval, that needs really looking into, because you're not being true to yourself. You are doing something which sometimes goes against your values to keep, to get someone's approval, to be liked, to keep someone even in your life. Because very often when you start putting boundaries in place, even with your friends or people who know you, they'll be like, oh my God, you know, she used to say yes to it and suddenly she says no. So people will have to adjust, and some people won't like it. Some people will be like, what's happened to her? You know, I've changed too much. But then the bottom line is you have to stay true to yourself, because when you betray yourself, when you dishonor yourself, you're kind of losing yourself, and life is not fun when you're not living your life on your terms and you are not living your life according to your inner wisdom and inner truth. So the awareness. The second thing is listen to your body and listen to your intuition, because when you are dishonoring your own boundaries, you always have a reaction in your body, and you always have this kind of intuitive nudge, like you're saying yes, but your intuition is saying you should actually say no because you don't really want to do it, or you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And we're very good at ignoring these little intuitive nudges and ignoring the contraction, the tension, the reaction within your body. So when you now, after this life, when you go and, you know, carry on living your life and meeting people and interacting, observe these little reactions, because they will help you to do something differently in the future. And another thing is observe your feelings and how you feel and start to communicate them. So, for example, someone does something which has hurt you, for example, but then you go like, oh, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm going to ignore it. It wasn't a big thing. You're talking yourself out of it. But it's a simple thing of saying how you feel. You know, I feel hurt. I feel hurt because you've done this and that. And You speak your truth, which gives an opportunity to heal the situation, to you show the person that they've done something wrong, you show the person that these are your limits and you didn't like it. And again, in a kind of loving way, you don't have to be, you know, an ass about it. So listen to your body, listen to your intuition, raise your awareness, observe your feelings and communicate your boundaries. And the last one is a bit more complex, so I do that with my clients, but go through your previous relationships and look at how you didn't stick to your boundaries, or you maybe didn't even have boundaries in place, and what you were doing to accommodate and justify and please your partners because you wanted to keep the relationship going, and how you lost yourself in the relationship because you never said no to certain things. So there are plenty of examples in your past which will help you determine how you want to act in the future and what kind of boundaries you want to set up in the future to honor yourself, to honor your truth, and to show up powerfully like you can. And then, because of that, you will be attracting different kind of guys to your life. So that's it from me, and a few words about my program. I've already mentioned it a few times. We are starting on the 16th of April. It's a 5-week group coaching program for women who know they deserve more in love. They just don't know how to get it. And we'll be focusing on what self-love is and how to love yourself more and how to raise your standards and how to have stronger boundaries and what kind of boundaries you need to put in place to honor yourself more, and how to feel more worthy, how to stop comparing yourself to others, and how to feel good enough. It's a common theme amongst women. And so we'll be busting all those myths which keep you away from finding the right kind of man, because you need to step up to attract men who are even out of your league. This is how I see it, because in my previous life, before my dating detox, which was my previous life, I used to attract men of low quality because this is where my vibration was at, and this is how I felt about myself. Low self-esteem, low self-worth, and I wasn't doing much to raise my vibration. After the dating detox, I showed up differently. I worked on myself. I loved and respected myself more, and that was reflected in the quality of men I started to attract. They were all amazing guys. Even though I didn't click with every single one of them in a romantic sense, I still had an amazing experience with every single one of them. So it will be all reflected in your life. And if you know deep in your heart that you are ready to invest, that you are ready to do something for your life, that you are ready to take your love life to the next level, please email me for more details or check the link which I'm going to post in the comments right now. And you can check more details. And if you have any questions, please get back to me. And I think I'm gonna dash because I'm already late. Keep well, everybody, and thank you very much for listening. Hey Ivana, hey Lena, hey Wendy, thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Keep well.